Not the Nerd O'Clock News, Q1 2020. The facts as I know them are not facts, but theories. Thus, the following fantastical, known non-truths are founded exclusively upon fragments of fruity fiction, and any similarity between their respective narratives and entities within the realm of reality is purely coincidental. Apple Intensive Care. In enterprising preparation for their defining product's 12th lineage, Apple introduced a radical care plan for spectacularly careless owners branded Apple Intensive Care. Unlike Apple's existing schemes, which carried initial one-off payments, Apple Intensive Care incurred a weekly subscription fee of $20 and could be purchased as part of a concessionary package at select Apple stores by kneeling at the Genius Bar and declaring, "I have butterfingers and butter for brains," whereupon a blue minion would inquire which of the new phones, there were presumed to be 3 at the time, the buyer wished to insure, and present them with a free conciliatory cup of coffee. Some customers reported that they'd received a $5 reduction to their recurring fee by managing to cry when they uttered the requisite phrase, though no decisive evidence exists of such a claim. Apple asserted that the plan covered every conceivable form of accidental damage, theft or loss, including running the handset through a boiled wash, falling on top of it on your way out of the Apple Store, running it through a boiled wash, placing it in a rucksack with an antique bear trap, a leaky bottle of liquid drain cleaner and a marble bust of Beethoven, running it through a boiled wash, trading it for some magic pips that a kind-looking greengrocer promised would grow into the next iPhone, running it through a boiled wash, losing it inside a double bass, and insulting its colour to the point that it developed terminally low self-esteem and refused to switch on. In the latter scenario, a surcharge of $40 was necessary to retain the services of an Apple-appointed genius psychotherapist, who would also educate the owner as to the perils of inflicting systematic abuse upon subservient gadgets. Pope Panos. Microsoft's chief product officer, Panos Panay, was allegedly accused of employing illegal psychological manipulation techniques during keynote presentations promoting the company's latest and greatest hardware. Appearing at an exclusive press event held in New York City on October 2, 2019, the flamboyant Greek Cypriot, considered by many to be the Surface brand's principal architect, unveiled 5 premium Microsoft devices to an invited audience of journalists, in each case expounding extensively on their design, features, and specifications. Several objective freelance influencers subsequently launched a supposed class action against Microsoft, claiming that Mr. Panay's spellbinding rhetoric and elaborate gesticulations constituted a form of subliminal hypnosis ostensibly linked to occult rituals, witchcraft, ancient voodoo, and some of the most aggressively marketed home insurance schemes since the Roman Empire. Popular tech vlogger Morris the Meg Johnson, host of the podcast Why You're Wrong to Buy Anything I Can't Afford, recounted, "I can recall sitting down and watching Satya's introduction. Then Panos walked on and started talking about how Microsoft's products should be thought of as perfectly tuned musical instruments that allow us to create without having to think. He showed a recording of his daughter playing the piano. It all seemed so charming and innocent. Then the lights dimmed and we were shown a video promo of the Surface Laptop 3. As soon as it finished, he had the machine in his right hand, just like magic. The screen was glowing as the lights faded back up. He opened it using just his index finger and with the finesse of a master conjurer. He compared the keyboard to the keys on a piano and claimed that its action and ergonomics ensured the perfect typing experience. For some reason, I couldn't take my eyes off his left hand. Every gesture seemed to punctuate what he was saying and simultaneously coax me into a catatonic state. All of a sudden I couldn't move my arms, and my feet felt like they were bolted to the floor. I heard Panos mention the word serviceability, immediately looked up and saw him de-lid the entire machine in a single manoeuvre. It was as though each of his fingers had sprouted its own separate hand. Then everything went dark, and the next thing I remember was waking up in bed at 3 a.m. the morning after with the phrase,
"There is no surface phone. Do understand?"
ringing in my ears, before discovering that I'd ordered over half the products available through Microsoft's online store, including a Surface Pro X, a Surface Pro 7 and a Surface Book 2, all with the most expensive configuration options and accidental damage coverage, even though I've never had an accident and my home insurance would cover one anyway. Apparently I'd also purchased a pair of Surface headphones. Why would I do that when my Sennheiser HD800s have served me flawlessly for almost a decade? I've never bought wireless headphones or pre-ordered unreleased products. It wasn't me. Panos made me do it. The man is an insidious menace to the tech community who covertly manipulates our irrational desires to assist Microsoft in their shameful profiteering. Mr. Panay, also purportedly known amidst his peers as the High Priest of Persuasion, was unavailable for comment, though an anonymous and unverified source asserted, "Absolutely nothing illegal took place. Going by his social media profile, I suspect Mr. Johnson to be on Apple's payroll, and that this lawsuit is nothing more than a tawdry publicity stunt." What kind of justice system would condemn established and proactive marketing techniques whilst simultaneously robbing buyers of their right to be financially responsible? And at the risk of inciting a downward moral death spiral of whataboutery, what about Dr. Lisa Su? What about Tim Cook? What about Phil Schiller or Jensen Huang? Those are the guilty ones, the exploiters, the extortioners, the covert brainwashers, the Machiavellian manipulators. Panos is a genius and a saint, whose passion for technology is matched solely by his desire to empower the masses with Microsoft's transcendent innovations, precious tools that shall forever enhance the aptitude of the professionally inclined consumer, also known as the career hobbyist, the full-time amateur, or the self-employed creator. It's these fresh-minded freelancers that Microsoft can aid most in extracting optimal productivity from a multitude of cross-platform applications with tediously contrived titles that sound more like the contents of a failed life coach's flip chart, and all of which coax the user into believing they're using time previously wasted on such daily mundanities as messaging, selfie spreading, meme distribution, and social media management to create something genuinely engaging and original, while in truth, those very activities were the fruits of their creative talents all along, which amount to arbitrarily moving fragments of personal data between a bloated and bemusing hodgepodge of Microsoft devices, thereby generating a crudely digitized chronology of their own compulsive self-centeredness. The aforementioned unverified source did not, in fact, state anything beyond the words "professionally inclined consumer." What followed was a furious tirade of pessimistic postulations, predicated on this author's perpetual and profound prejudice towards commercial corporations who persist in perniciously supplanting practical functions with extortionate, experience-enhancing solutions to problems that never existed.